my nose
right.
itch now. What the fuck?
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Heck yeah. Let's do this thing.
Wait.
Okay. I just love that. Just, are you ready? Wait. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Waifu Watch podcast. You should know everybody right by now, so I'm not going to introduce everybody. And if you don't know us, go back and watch our other crap, because what are you doing this late in the game? But anyway, it's fine. I'm going to be your host today, and we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, and you guys are going to see how much of a nerd I am, because we're going to be talking about Otome games, which is something that I have.
That thing gave me pure anxiety. Danny. It triggered me so bad. I was like, I'm going to do it because she wants me to, but I swear to God, I'm not doing this no more. Like,
oh my gosh.
The writer insider was like, no.
Oh, yeah. As a writer, sometimes the writing
Yeah.
can be really bad. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Shelby and Jack, as people who write a lot, have to say about the writing. But before we jump in too deep, real quick, does anybody have any experience with Otome games or visual novel games at all?
No.
Mana,
You take? I would say
explain yourself.
Yes.
Well, I'm just gonna calm down.
I'm down.
So I have a little bit of experience with Otome games. My choker just did a thing. Didn't notice that. Where when I was younger, I would play them every now and then, randomly from the Apple Store. And then I stopped for a good, once I got to middle school, high schoolish, I was like, this is lame. I'm not going to do this. But I was still a big fucking weeb, so I don't really get what the difference was. But I just got wrapped into it, the year after I graduated. And I spent so much time in them. I was like, this is a whole story. This is all mine. He's all mine. It was this weird obsession, and I have written off of Otome games temporarily, but I do have my fair share with them.
Yeah, that's fair. What game was it? Or multiple?
It was multiple. The only one I can remember out of the four that I had running because of psychopath was the Shall We Date, and it was the samurai story.
Yeah, I've played that one.
Samurai story.
Yeah.
There's also one other actually that I did enjoy very much. It was more recent. It was a demon academy. You were the human to go to the demon academy to make good and have them learn and stuff. And so you could choose which demon you would be hanging out with the most as your protector, because one student has to protect the human.
Right. Okay, rad. And then none of you guys have ever played even visual novel types of games?
Yeah. You want to go, Shelby? Go ahead, Shelby.
Okay, so it's not exactly a visual novel game, but it reminded me of the game you told us to. So I got really into Love Island this season, and they had a game. And it's very much like visual novel, to where you read what's happening and then you choose and everything. But it was very, very sexual, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So I deleted the game. But if you're up for that, it was perfect.
What was it called again?
Love Island.
Jesus, you just unlocked a memory just now. Another Otome game, and it was you get trapped on an island, but it's with a house of vampires, and it's just I had another one.
I would say just by what you had us do, I can honestly say I haven't, but it reminded me of fan fiction on Tumblr or something when Quizlets was a big thing, and they were oh, Twilight, Naruto, and you pick your weapon, and I was into that.
Yeah.
But that other shit I'm gonna let you go into it. I'm gonna
say okay. Yeah, so they're akin to they're kind of the virtual choose your own adventure books that we read as kids and stuff. But slight backstory.
I never read those.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't find out those till late high school, and at that point I was like, what are these?
What are those? Yeah. Our teacher would read them to us. We'd go a chapter at a time, and then the class would vote on what we did, and there was majority rules, and if they voted and you ended up dead, it'd be I knew it, you stupid idiots.
My God.
It was very
D&D
fun
for kids.
Essentially, it is. It's like baby's first D&D.
Oh,
But so yeah, the first Otome game was released in 1994, actually, by Koei, and it was called Angelique for the Super Famicom. So they've been around for a while. But for the uninitiated, Otome is essentially a dating game, but it's like reverse harem. So it's a girl surrounded by a gaggle.
Guys, we need more reverse harems, damn it.
Surrounded by a gaggle of Ikemen, which means like attractive men in Japanese.
There's so many harems.
Yes, and so
much anxiety. I hated that shit.
And but then like in 2006, like Famitsu released their top 20 video games list, and 7 of them were Otome games. And obviously, you know, because it's women's interests, there's a lot of like shoujo elements in it, and josei, which means women's interest. But the 2 most popular ones that you guys might have heard of that got turned into anime were Diabolik Lovers and Uta no Prince Sama, which is another like really big one. Yeah, Annie!
We talked about that on the music podcast.
Yes, we did. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of overlaps.
I'd just like to say for Diabolik Lovers, terrible story. I don't know why they had to make whenever she got bit sound like an apple. That was I was enjoying the sexy bite scene, and then they bite and it sounds like someone bites like a fucking apple.
Crunch. There was a
crunch. I've never heard any vampire animes do it that way. It's awful.
Giving a real snack. Like you're
I mean, her name was Eve, so I didn't realize that till later. So I guess it was like a plague. She was the apple, so when they bit her, but it was just disturbing every time. But good, sexy scenes. Despite the apple,
it just ruined the mood.
It makes you go.
You're like, wait, what? It's just like, yeah.
Physical cringe.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, and so they're like usually released, like they kind of found a home on like the PSP and the PS Vita just because they're like handheld, portable, really easy, but then eventually moved over to like, you know, iOS and Android and mobile stuff. But there are quite a few like on Steam and for PC and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so like I couldn't find any exact figures on like how much money like this generates every year, but they're wildly popular. And so I want to know why you guys think, like, why do you think these are so popular?
So are you asking
girls love having crushes,
or
it plays off of hormones. It's like, I have a crush, and then you get to choose too. So I can see like why it's addictive. It's like, oh, you can personalize this story and it's fit for you, and they're talking to you because your name's on there. So it's but me, I'm just like, that's not what I would say. This is not realistic for me. So I can definitely, like, I feel like 13-year-old me, if she would have discovered this, I probably wouldn't have any real relationships. It's like, you can't compete. Y'all love me. Like, so I'm kind of glad.
You can all compete for more.
Hormones.
Anybody else? Next.
I mean, it's just another form of escape. And to build off of what Jack said, it's like you can choose that exact escape or have at least a hand in choosing it. Because like with stuff that's already made, it's not like you can change it. Although there was an episode of Black Mirror that was sort of like this on Netflix. I
remember that, yeah.
But yeah, so you usually don't have the creative license to like tailor your escape. So I guess that's part of it for this. And also it's just, I don't know, fun, I would say, to be able to like choose your own adventure type of thing.
America runs on escapism.
Mood, especially this year.
Oh,
sorry.
No, you're good. Annie or Mana, any thoughts?
Choose your words carefully, Annie.
Okay, so as a person who like their fictional type is like, you know, not healthy. This is a perfect way to have that relationship. in a safe place. So you're not gonna like experience it in real life. So you can always just like close the app whenever you're done. But
oh yeah,
that's fair. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. He's like, I whisper to the phone, I'll be back.
Yeah, no, for sure. Annie, I agree with you a shocking amount, because it is very like, again, as someone, who has a very unhealthy type in fictional environments, it's like, you know, there's going to be at least some kind of happy ending. So it's like, you know, they're a jerk now, but it's like, oh, you're going to fall for me in like 8 chapters. So
exactly.
Give it time.
That kind of safe, like, there's this, oh man, I was watching this. I don't know if you guys know the same people that did Harry Potter musical, also did Twisted, which is a Disney musical, like a parody. And it's really, really good. You should all go watch it. But it's like 3 hours long because it's a musical. But anyways, there's this line in it that says, I want adventure, but in danger, like at every corner. But I also want to be safe at the end of the day.
Right.
No. That kind of feeling.
Oh yeah, similar concept. Oh gosh, I was just gonna say something and the thought just no, totally, it was because it came back. So as you can probably surmise, there are like different endings that you can get when you play these games. It vastly depends on like which company of like games. Like I have a lot of experience with Voltage, and what I was thinking about when I was coming up with stuff for the podcast is that like Voltage, and this will go into another point, there's essentially 2 types of Otome games, at least for like mobile stuff. There is the pay to play, which is what Voltage is. So they like give you so much free content, then eventually you do have to just like buy the rest of the story. Once you have it, it's like, you know, you can read it straight through. Then there are the party style games, which is essentially run on like a type of like heart system, which a lot of, you know, games do as well, where it's like you get, you know, 5 hearts and they regenerate in 3 hours. And so you can read 5 chapters, and then it's like, you can either buy more hearts or, you know, wait until they like regenerate on their own, which, you know, microtransactions could be a podcast in and of itself. But usually in the party style games, you can get a bad ending where the character doesn't fall for you and they don't like you and you're sad and alone at the end.
So sad.
Which I found out the hard way playing one of my first Otome games. It was a Shall We Date, which is does a lot of party style games. And it was something with like, there's like 10 princes or whatever, and you can pick your prince, or it's something generic like that. And I'm like, oh, this guy's handsome. Did not know anything about these games. And I'm like, I'm going to play like answer how I would answer with these answers. And I get to the end of like 12 chapters and he's like, yeah, you're the worst. And then it's just like bad ending. And I was like, damn, what? Like, that's a thing that can happen. I'm like, I got rejected by a fictional character. Like, this is sad. Like,
whole new sad.
It was so depressing. But then Voltage with like the pay to play, I think because you have to buy it, they're like, the 2 endings are either good ending or happy ending. And so good ending is like, yeah, you still get together, but then happy ending is like, oh, it's like the perfect story. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
it is, but it's very interesting because of like, you know, how much time you can invest in these. And as far as money goes, like, again, I couldn't find any figures like on, you know, like the company earnings or anything, but I would say average user of what I found on like subreddits, because that's where I had to go to find my information for this one, is like an active user spends about $20 to $50 a month on these games. And there are women in Asia who have confessed that they've spent over $1,000 total playing these games.
I'm writing the wrong kind of books.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like,
is it possible to get like a job to like write for these games?
Right, that's where
I have applied for such jobs actually, because a lot of them hire freelancers, and but yeah, and so that's like a very real, like a real industry that you can go into, is writing these like, you know, choose your own adventure books or like kind of stories and such. But I would say to air my shame.
I'm sorry, I just started thinking about what I would write to like. I literally just had a yes.
Oh, I mean, and what's so funny about these is like they can be anywhere. So like most of them are very like innocent and like sexless, and it's very like, it's very heavily like implied, but it's usually not very explicit. But then there are games and there are voltage games that like get a lot more explicit, you know.
Sorry.
Just because like when the industry started, it was originally aimed at like middle school and high school girls, but then when they started releasing games, they found that women in like their 20s and 30s were playing them, and so they're like, okay, like they need something too, and so then that's when like the more like. Yeah.
Shelby,
exactly.
which one you gonna do? Shelby, which one you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
But to like to be completely transparent, I would say I've easily spent over $100 like in the course of these apps, if not, I don't think it's 200, but I'd say it's at least like $100 to $150. Just because I started doing some math in my head and I'm like, oh, that's like $50 easy right there. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun anymore. Like, I don't want to do the math. Like, but just because, yeah, I'm a sad human.
If you think about it, like, how much do people spend on dating apps? Like, don't they spend?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Certain ones, yeah, it's like you have to.
Tinder's like usual. Tinder's a premium thingy now. Didn't know that. I hopped on it randomly. It was like get premium.
Oh, Bumble got a lawsuit out.
What even is Bumble? I've heard of that, but I'm like, what the fuck is
Bumble? Bumble's the one where the girl has to make the first move, so a guy can't message you
I've heard about that.
Like, I will say, I downloaded a dating app 2 days ago. Ooh. I deleted it in 10 minutes. It was so
okay. Yes.
Terrible.
Very quick.
Yeah. It was like, oh, local. What was it? Oh my God.
Hinge?
It was Bumble. It was like High Five or something.
Hinge is awful.
I hate Hinge too. Hinge did me dirty.
Sorry. Carry on, Jack. I'm sorry.
I've already been on Hinge, deleted it, and I actually re-downloaded that and I had a message saying, "You're back." I said, "Oh shit, I forgot." I uninstalled it. So I have to go multiple places. But it was just it was so terrible. It was just like
always terrible every time.
And I had
never goes anywhere.
It was 10 minutes and I had like 60 plus. Hey, they're interested in you. And then I had swiped so many. It's like, are you even enjoying this app? I put no. Terrible people. It was
yeah. So quick aside on that note, aside from Annie, who is in a happy relationship and doesn't have to deal with the garbage nonsense of dating.
Absolutely.
Do y'all go through the cycle of like, I'm sad and alone, so I'm going to get a dating app, and then you download the dating app and you fill out your profile and then you start looking through the people and you're like, oh, humanity is so depraved and I hate it. And then you delete it. And then in like 5 months, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sad. And like, just go through that vicious cycle over and over and over again. It's the worst.
That was literally what I did.
Yeah.
Gently, but I don't, the apps don't ever, usually they get deleted if they're really shitty, but I'll just like forget about it. I'll be like, oh, let's do it. And I'll like, I'm like, this is what that's for. I remember why I don't do this. And I'm just like, Anyway, Instagram, Snapchat.
I'll keep my apps and I'll like continue to swipe whether it's left or right, but it really depends if I actually message someone or not.
Yeah.
That's when you know I'm bored and alone.
Boredom.
Well, I've gotten it where I've been on the app and they're like, we don't have any more people to show you.
Same. I just gone through so many people. It's like, oh, you're out of people, and I'm like, cool. Well,
yes.
Do I
expand that search radius to 50 miles?
Yes. Like, what about when you give up all hope when you sign up for the new app because you've done it so many times and it's like, fill out your profile. And you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't even want to tell you about myself.
Yeah.
I just want to look at your pictures and let's see then if I'm impressed. Then you'll
Yeah, same. I'll do that. Yes. I was like, are you
so hard to come up with like a bio or whatever?
Exactly.
I usually put
copy paste
like a quote from something. It's usually a SpongeBob quote.
Yeah,
that's just mentally where I am. But that because I'm like, if you get this reference, then we can talk. Like,
I went to Goodwill like 2 days ago and I scored a SpongeBob trash can tin and it's square and it has different SpongeBob faces on each side.
Okay. Nice. But brief, sad dating tangent aside. So now we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty and we're gonna talk about what y'all thought of the prologue to Star-Crossed Myth. So first off, I want to know, because there were 2 prologues, and so I didn't care which one you read. I'm assuming probably most of you guys probably. Jack, your face is just on my screen because you're the last one who talked, and you look so mad. But yeah. So again, for the uninitiated, one, you can download the app because it's free and it's great. And if you're a girl, you're probably gonna like this. But our audience is mainly boys. But whatever, it's fine.
They can do it too.
What?
They can do it too.
Yeah, they can. Oh, and briefly, Jack, you were talking about before we get really into this. The protagonist of all these stories, 9 times out of 10, is a very boring milquetoast character that is inoffensive, and you're supposed to be able to like project yourself on her because she's just really boring and doesn't really do that much. And so that's like why they're like that, because if they made her too like, you know, have any personality, then someone could be like, that's not like me. But
it's the questions. It's the, what is that? What is this? I'm like, damn, she asked more questions than she was talking. Like, focus.
She does talk a lot.
Yes. Lots of internal monologue, which is, I mean, that's like par for the course for visual novels. So, you know, if you've played any, like that's kind of how it goes. But brief plot summary for the people who won't play the app. You're a girl, you work at a planetarium because you love the stars. 6 gods randomly find you. They tell you have stars in your eyes. You have no idea what's happening. You go work at the planetarium at an event. A kid falls off a building. You go to save him. These guys all save you. That you find out that you were a goddess in your former life, and one of them has to protect you. So you get to pick who that is. Okay, that was my 60-second elevator pitch. Now, who's your man? Who'd y'all pick?
I literally...
I did this like a week ago. So.
Wait, where's my phone? Because I have to read the because there was your 2 I was specifically torn between. And I have to...
So they're based...
I like the pink-haired guy.
I picked Scorpio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whoever was Scorpio,
his name's Scorpio. So
I hated Scorpio.
I hated him, and that's why I liked him. He was the most blunt, the most transparent,
and he calls you woman, which is so degrading. But
I was like, I know where he is. That Leo mother. Let me stop. He dropped me when he was like, "I'll see you."
Well, you didn't like Leo. He was my pick.
Really? No.
I'm here for the chaos.
Leo dropped me and was like, "Oh, I bet you say yes next time." No, you dropped me. I could have died. I don't like that. That's manipulation.
Oh, this is so amazing. This is even better than I imagined.
Where is the fucking
so I'll go ahead and tell you my picks were, because I've played through multiple of these stories because my life is very sad. So the first person that I picked was Hudo. He's the god of Aquarius. He's the guy with the blue hair. He was very comforting. His story is so sad, which we'll get into that too. So yeah, I played his story. Then I played Scorpio's story because I love the jerks who are like, I'm never gonna love you, and I'm like, I just paid $5. You're definitely gonna love me. Like,
oh my gosh!
I can put a price tag on this love. So like, this is what it is.
I love Danny.
And I did not play through Leo's story, but fun fact about Scorpio, he likes his apples cut up to look like bunny rabbits. So he does have a soft side. But Leo's power is he's the god of pleasure. So whenever he touches you, interesting things happen. And to keep it PG-13, that's all I'm gonna say.
That's Leo.
Yeah, Leo. In the first, it gets spicy in the first chapter.
Okay. I knew I picked right.
Like literally, like the CG, which is like the special picture, like they usually give you like 4, because it's usually 12 chapters, and so they usually give you a special downloadable picture every 3 chapters. And his in chapter 1 is he's like sitting on the throne.
Yeah, I can see all the characters now. Yes, who are we on?
I'm talking about Leon.
Yeah.
And he's, and like, you're clearly like kneeling or like on the ground, and it's because he like touched you somewhere on your arm and you kind of like collapsed on the floor because it like felt so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna make them just send me dick pics. Like,
it's
forget all
so
that.
funny.
That sounds hilarious. He was the cutest character on the mall, and it really pissed me off because the one thing I didn't like about his story was that I was like, he was like, love is like a drug, you can lead them to ruin. Like, I didn't like the whole like scared of my own power, and I was like, bitch, are you trying to call me weak? I was like, listen here, sir, I'm strong. And so
right, and that's why like I kind of love that we picked this one, since there are one for each of the star signs, and so I was gonna see like how well you thought any of yours lined up, but
Pisces was close for me. I'm just a Pisces, so it would never work.
Oh yeah, Ichthyes, he's sweet.
I like Partheno. That's his name, Partheno.
He's the pink-haired dude. Yeah, he's nope, not Virgo.
Really nice. I wish they would have done Aries character better and more my type, because I like Aries a lot, and I was like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, like I will say the one thing they did get about Aries, because like I played through his story and I was slightly disappointed because I'm like, oh, don't do Aries dirty like that. One, because he's not super cute, and I'm just like
he's not,
but I like that he was super standoffish, and I'm like, oh, that's me, because he like doesn't say anything to the protagonist for a while, and then he's like, what? And I'm like, oh, it me, like and then he's like, no, it's okay, like it's all good. I'm like, oh my gosh, that actually is like kind of like Aries, but yeah, they just make him really like blunt.
See, that's why I like Scorpio though.
I've seen Hades, and homeboy can get it.
Talking about, that sounds crazy.
I love Hades anyway. Like, I wrote a whole book on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't see.
Oh wow, hi. Like
hi.
Wow. Water.
Heck yeah. No, everyone in that game is so hot, and I'm just like, I'll never play it though, because I don't like roguelites and dungeon crawlers. That's just not my jam. But anyway, okay, so Annie said Leon, Shelby said Partheno. Mana, who'd you say?
Oh, sorry, I was telling you who I really liked, but who I ended up fucking choosing. What's his fucking name? He's got the purple-haired boy, Ziglavis.
Yeah.
I ended up choosing Ziglavis.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, never mind. I can't get too into this, or I'll out myself too much. But he's cool. He's stern.
That was such a play.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, just he's cool. And then Jack, you said Scorpio. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Yeah. So I played through Hudo first, and since I'm assuming none of you are going to pursue this any further, I will spoil some of these stories for you. Well, I mean, I don't have to, but
no.
So I picked Hudo just because I thought he was really sweet, and it's kind of like the opposite of the type that I normally go for. I normally go for the Scorpio and the Ziglavis, who's very like, yeah, I'm just doing this because I have to. And then it's like, oh, but you're gonna like me.
Wait, what? That's his type?
Oh yeah, he's a Libra, and so he's real like.
I thought he'd be like really even, right?
Well, yeah, but he's also, and so another plot
very
point,
much new,
which I don't remember if they talked about this in the first prologue, but there's two departments. There's the Department of Wishes and the Department of Punishments, and so half of them are on punishments, half of them are on wishes. Scorpio is in punishments. I see you raising your eyebrows, Jack. But
I know I picked the right one. I'm gonna take
but Ziglavis is like the head of the Department of Punishment, so he's like super serious and doesn't like to open up to a lot of people except you. And yeah, so his story is really good, and he's just a very handsome man. But Hudo's story is so sad because, spoiler, you two were married in your previous life, and if you don't pick him, like, he remembers all of that, but you don't. And so he says all these little things to you, like, oh yeah, like you used to do stuff like that, and you're like, how does he know that? And it's like, It's because you guys were married and you didn't pick him. Like,
oh, that's so sad.
It's so sad. But thankfully I picked him first. But then when you go through other stories, it's like, obviously, you know, like, it's like you never, you know, pick that person.
So right.
I know, it's so, and so I played through Scorpio, and it's like, whenever they describe him, it's like that he's always just kind of like sadly smiling at you, because he's like, he's happy that you're happy, but like, you're not with him. It's like, oh, it's
That's
so sad.
really sad.
It's very sad. But yeah, and so what'd you think of the story or the prologue?
I liked it. It was good. It was cool. But I feel like I didn't like the way the characters addressed me. Like, I felt like it was very much there was a lot of reading and a talking between them. And I'm like, this is about me.
Well, I mean, the prologue's always kind of like that though. So it's like,
I would like to say, like, the prologue, I read it so fast and I was just like, and I'm like, finally, thank fucking God. But even then, I don't think they're for me, because my brain says, oh, this is a video game, and I want to look around the room kind of like I'm
yeah.
I did that too, where I clicked on different things in the room and nothing happened.
No, it is purely visual novel. Yeah.
And then when you're back in the room, I was like, what the fuck? I came to this room. This is my third time. I was in the air twice. Now we're back in the room.
There's only so much budget for backgrounds.
I swear, I got so sick of going back to the room to this.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're not asking the right questions, lady. Like, it was.
The music pissed me off. I just remembered that. I was like, it's such a sudden change in music, like not even a gradual. It was just like,
when it gets like, really dramatic,
Yes. But I get the concept. It's wonderful. I just don't think it's for me. Like, visually, I want to do more.
Right. Sure.
And just like reading books, I'm like, something's missing here. Y'all don't have very good transitions. Like, if this was like the dialogue.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't work for my brain type.
Yeah. It's kind of a hybrid, between video game dialogue and like a short story. So it's kind of like a weird, like, middle ground of like, this isn't like top tier writing, but
I'm getting it. It's pulling me in. I'm just not I'm just on the outskirts. Like, I ain't coming in.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought it
Shelby.
Was interesting. If it was free, I would do more of it, but it's not. Nah.
I do have a free one that I'm going to recommend in a minute, though, because we're going to talk about it. Because you've probably seen it on the internet, but we'll get to it momentarily.
Is it that ones where they're just like, it's either there's one that's a sultan where it's like, oh, you can be the sultan, or like be the escort, and then there's one like,
I know what you're talking about. I've seen commercials for that.
Or the one where it's like, I'm pregnant. And the girl.
Oh, no, not those like I know what one you're talking about, because there's always like Facebook ads for those. But no, neither one of those.
Okay, thank you. I was like, I don't know about those.
No, no.
Was very tropey.
Oh yeah.
It was very tropey. It was like, I don't know. It felt very like, oh, this is an Otome game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It didn't feel unique, but I really liked, as like one of the first Otome games that I've done, being this one. I also enjoyed the fact that it was like predictable.
Yeah.
So where I was like, oh, I know what's going on. Kind of thing. So I didn't feel lost.
The main character sure doesn't.
I'm still thinking about
I'll call the police on you.
Oh yeah, so lost. Always lost. I'm like, bro, this is come on.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, one of my favorite parts where I like it and I don't like it was the line that said, and his perfectly formed lips graced my hand. That
was because Ichthy's, Ichthy's like kisses your hand. Right.
Look at my face.
Yeah, it is. It's very like, I would call it like cringy in a lovable way. Like it knows exactly that it's like campy.
Campy. Yeah.
It's not like a reaction. It's just kind of like, oh, like this is stupid, but it's cute. Yeah. Like so yeah.
I got that. Yeah.
Which is very fun. Yes. One of my other favorites in Voltage is Kissed by the Baddest Bidder, which is slightly Stockholm syndrome because you work at this hotel and you find out there's these black market auctions going on, and then it's like you find out about them, so you're a liability, so you have to like follow one of the like heads of the auction so they know like you don't snitch on them basically.
Oh, you told us about
that. You may have to say, wait, I think you might have mentioned that.
Yes, and that one a lot more like, I would say it's less predictable because there's a lot more like, I mean, at least in my favorite character for that one, he is like a detective that knows these are going on, but he kind of has to be okay with it because it's like, you know, how police stuff is. It's like, you know, yeah, I'm not going to tell you about this, but you're going to give me information on like cases and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, you infiltrate a cult and like, there's a lot of gunfights. And so slightly less predictable, but I have a soft spot for Starcrossed Myth. But the one that you may have seen everywhere for, I would say probably like, I think it's like 6 years old at this point, which is bonkers, is Mystic Messenger. It kind of like took over the internet, especially if you were on Tumblr at that time, but it did make its way on Twitter eventually. And the reason why like that one was so crazy is because one, it got super popular and it was a not Japanese company doing it. It was a Korean company, and you could romance a lady, which was like very different for that like style of game. Mana, you look really confused.
You dredged a memory from my Otome period, and I was obsessed with Mystic Messenger for a long time, but I never in my time of being on Mystic Messenger knew that was an option. I'm just like, that doesn't sound like the game I was playing. And I was just like, oh, but that was so long ago. But I just thought it was wild because I was like, oh my God, Mystic Messenger. That's where I was on the money.
Yes.
Fever dream.
Yes. So in Mystic Messenger's format is also very different. And so it actually plays like you're like sending text messages on your phone. And so
it does.
It's not like it doesn't like go into your messages app, but it's essentially like the screen that comes up looks like it would be like you're on like Line or something like that. And
how many people are just under this like zombie like spell that this has on people? Like,
Mystic Messenger I highly recommend it because it's free, but man, it is a time sink because it is the way that it works is it's a real time game.
It works real time. You're right.
So it's like for, I don't know, like so many hour windows, there'll be like a conversation that you engage in with certain characters and you like pick your answer and it like sends a message and stuff. But the plot summary of the game is that you find this phone and you're trying to figure out who it belongs to, and you wind up in this like, you know, Line chat room type app thing, talk to these guys, find out that they run this like enormous charity. And because you find the phone, they're like, okay, you're going to help us now. It's been years since I played it. So it's something along those lines. Like I don't 100% remember, but, so it's like, you're talking to them the whole time. Then eventually, like when you go to like the gala that they have, like you meet them and blah, blah, blah. But,
my suspicious mind isn't meant for these games. I don't trust anyone.
No. Yeah. And Mystic Messenger knows that. And it's a very, like, there are some, like, very weird elements to it. Because various times in the chat, someone called Unknown will pop up and, like, mess with the code of the game and stuff. And it's really, like, borders on that. It's kind of like how, like, computer glitches are kind of seen as, like a horror thing. Because it's like, oh, it's not supposed to be doing that, even though it's not scary. And so it's like stuff like that happens. And, but the thing is, so these conversations will be open for, you know, an hour or 3 hours. And if you don't play it during that time, like you don't have that conversation. And so there are ones that happen at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, obviously, like, you don't have to get all of them to get the happy ending. But when I was in college and I would randomly wake up at night and I couldn't get back to sleep, I'm like, well, who's on Mystic Messenger? Because I'll talk to you for 10 minutes, like, and then go back to sleep, because what else are you going to do? But yeah, there's, I'm going to see if I can remember everybody's names, because there was, so the way they broke it up is there's 3 like regular stories, and then you had to do all 3 of those before you could go on to the like special stories of the other characters. And so there's Zen, who is my favorite. He was an actor. Then there is Jae-hee, who, and forgive me, I don't speak Korean, so I don't know how to pronounce things, but that was the girl that you could romance. Then there was Yoon Sung, I think, who's a boy. And then Jumin Han, which you might have seen over the internet, because Does Jumin Han is Gay was a really big meme for a long time. And then 707. And yeah, so it's like set up in these like chat rooms where you send messages and whatever your answer is. But that one you could get like very bad endings, and the course of like you getting from the start of the game to the end of your story would be a week. So it's like, it is a week of real-time commitment that you have for these games, which is kind of bonkers, but it like exploded in popularity. And if we have to go in quarantine again, I highly recommend it, because the story is actually really interesting, and like the writing in it is a lot better than like your standard Otome game, which is why Chariots, the company who made it, has only done 1, because that was like their baby, and they're like, we're not doing this anymore because it's really hard to do like good writing for these games.
If we go into quarantine again, we should all find dates for each other on dating apps. Like here, bounce. Annie, I'm sorry, you're excluded.
Yes. Sitting that one out.
And she has to pay for being happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so happy for you, Annie. No, I'm just kidding. We are, though.
We are.
So my last question that I have for you guys is, what would your dream Otome game look like?
My dream Otome game would be based off of Spirited Away, when I'm waiting on, what's his, oh my God, what's his name?
Haku?
Haku, yes. Like, I grow up and I'm a teenager and Haku's trying to find me, and he comes to the human world, and there's like, yeah, that would be mine. I'll be like, ooh, Haku, I knew I'd find you, you sexy river spirit. Like, that'd be
sexy river.
I'm surprised you wouldn't do Inuyasha.
No, it's too much stuff going on.
That's too much, too intense.
Yeah,
realistically.
I told you I already started binge watching the prequel, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, you cheater.
I cheated. I don't care. There's some things money can't buy. That's not for Inuyasha. Like, I'm gonna watch it, but no, it'll be Spirited Away, because I've always wanted a number 2, and a continuation would be like fulfilling that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely, I always bring this anime up over and over, and I will never stop. If I can have a Kami-sama Kiss type story, that'd be great. Actually, wait, no, realistically, that would be a lot of work. I take it back. I retract my answer. Give me a minute.
Are you renege on your answer?
Because I had one before that I was going to say, and I changed it last minute, and then I realized, no, that doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, go back to it. But I forgot what it was, so I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'd like an Ouran High School Host Club or Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Ooh,
where like you got different boy or different and like different girl, because you know all the options. Like in different houses, and then like different personalities and stuff. So that'd be cool.
Yeah. I did know like people were pushing, I don't know if it ever happened, but people really wanted an Ouran High School Host Club like Otome game, because they're like, please, like I'll have to look into that, because I know like that was a really big push, and just because it's like the nature of that show, like it's made for it.
You're right.
Shelby.
Very Otome.
There is one. I knew it.
There is?
Yes, it was made for PS2 and Nintendo DS.
I love PS2. I want to get another one so bad. Just so I can play Persona 3.
Well, yeah, and that's what, not to tangent too hard, but a lot of like other games have like, obviously it's not necessarily romance mechanics, but like, Persona has the whole friendship aspect of like, you give people gifts and then your friendship goes up, and same with Danganronpa and, anything like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon, any of those kind of games have that like, I'm gonna romance this person, or I'm gonna like be best friends with this person. So it's like it's a natural segue into like, but what if like
Ooh, we should all go around and say, what would we name an Otome game? Like all these names are very
are bonkers. Yeah.
Like that's where I'm just like, what would you name your Otome game? Like,
oh yeah, we'll have to do that. But Shelby, yes. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine. I don't know. I think I'd like to do something that was sci-fi, like you would have to go into space and do like an adventure.
Oh, that'd be fun.
A whole bunch of sexy aliens.
I think that would be fun.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pull up some of the stories with the titles, and we'll come up with our own titles.
Oh God.
So even if it's a collaborative effort of like,
I got one.
If we were the options in like, obviously it's not Otome for boys, but like whatever that equivalent is, what would our thing be called? Let's see. So we have
to be a whole 5-letter word. It has to be a whole 5-letter title, and we each get to choose one, and it has to be.
It's like an improv exercise where it's like one of us is like, we are like, but
I've literally been thinking about this since it started. I want to collaborate, but still I was like, ooh, I will put like signed across your heart, and it'll be a heart and like a cross on it. It'll be like, ooh, vampire love kind of thing. And like the cross is on there. It'll be like, ooh.
That'd be good. Yeah.
I told you I did.
Dramatical Murder. I want to play it so bad, but its download is like originally Japanese, and it's like there's a whole lot of systems you have to be able to get Dramatical Murder and get the translation in English.
Right.
I want it so bad.
Didn't they make that into an anime though?
They did, but it was done very shittily. But if you yell Dramatical Murder plays on YouTube, spicy.
I think Dramatical Murder's on Netflix too. Because I think I added it to my Netflix queue.
See, yeah, but the spice that's in the game, they don't include it in the anime at all. They completely drain the spice to put a different story. It's completely unfulfilling.
That happens a lot usually. It's like it's BL, but not really. But yeah, okay. So like I said, yeah, we read Star-Crossed Myth and then Kissed by the Baddest Bidder. Let's see. Scandal in the Spotlight is an idol one where it's all boys in an idol group. And I did read one of those stories and it was very good. Romance MD, always on call.
What?
Oh my God.
Dax exits room.
No, thank you.
My Forged Wedding, our 2-bedroom story. Let's see. Wanted Romance Renegades.
Terrible.
One of the really big popular ones, 2 of them actually, are Era of Samurai, Code of Love, and then Enchanted in the Moonlight is a really, really popular one because those are like demon boys. So
there you go, Jack.
Yeah.
I was about to say, out of all of those, I literally
it's,
Enchanted in the Moonlight.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like fox spirits and like stuff like that.
It's
and
my
so
shit.
That's
They're never not a sexy fox spirit. They're never not sexy.
That's what. What does the fox
have I
say?
played? Oh yeah, Dreamy Days in West Tokyo. I played one of that. That was my first Voltage game, baby's first Voltage game. And it was very like slice of life, nothing too exciting. And I got this one because, like, not gonna lie, the title sounded interesting because it's called Bad Boys Do It Better. And I was like, and it was so lame and like G-rated. And I'm just like, God, like I'm exposing myself, but it's okay. Yeah, okay, so what would our Otome game?
Is it based off of us?
Yeah, if the people had a waifu watch visual novel, got to romance one of us.
Support our Patreon if you would like that.
We could make that happen. We have 2, and I'll say I'm a half of a writer, that we could work together and at least do some kind of very like,
and we got
basic like. So what would
a dating sim game like Sims, but you can date on it? That sounds so cool. When has anyone ever invented that?
Mana, your reaction was a little.
I have an idea for my next animatic episode then.
Oh no!
Drawing little screenshots and stuff.
Of what?
Of like us in an Otome game.
Like a text box.
Yeah, like a little text box, and then like our little.
Yeah, especially since we all know what our like dere types are.
Mm-hmm.
So I better have my arms crossed and be saying baka.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Is that what IMVU is?
That's obvious.
What'd you say, Mana?
So is that what IMVU is?
IMVU?
It was like such a 2000s thing, like they're little characters you could go on.
Avatar-ish, and you are the avatar walking around, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That, but in dating form.
Wait. Oh, that you're still talking about. Okay.
Oh, I thought when he said dating sim, it just meant like, yeah, like a visual novel, like
that
type thing.
No,
not like a VR, yeah, like
okay. I was like, whoa. Hold on.
Yes, that's true, but that's a more recent thing. Oh yeah, and there are really weird Otome games. There's one where you're a pigeon and you romance other pigeons.
I've heard of that actually.
I've heard of that.
Or yeah, no, you're a human. You're a human and you romance pigeon. There's one with horses. There's
bestiality. I do not.
There's like, yeah, there's very explicit ones. I mean
Shelby's face.
Yeah, like it gets spicy.
It gets spicy.
So,
that is
what a horse.
Tread carefully if you're listening to this. But we
still
need a title.
Pun intended. Tread carefully.
Okay, title Waifu Watch thing. Go, Annie. Pitch.
Okay.
Pitch.
Here are my 2 pitches. Okay. First, reality waifus, because we're kind of like a reality TV show. So instead of like fictional waifus, we are reality waifus.
Yeah.
Second pitch, if that one didn't catch your interest.
She's
the
like,
Fine Five.
Ooh.
Which has got some alliteration in there. Nice vocabulary.
Yeah, I like that because then we could put something in front of it and make it very long, which is what Japanese titles always do. And so I was thinking we could do, because a lot of times they're terrible puns, we could do waifu, watch your heart, colon.
Shit, I love that.
And then colon with the, what was it? The something five? The fine five. Waifu, watch your heart, colon, the fine 5.
That's it.
Wild.
That is art. Right there.
Listen up, Voltage.
You know what? Annie and Danielle, I think that was it. Waifu, watch your heart.
That's it, yeah.
Waifu, watch your heart.
We got it in one.
I'm writing that down. It's gonna be under
a t-shirt.
T-shirt, or yeah, I'll mock up a logo. Like,
do it.
This will be great. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
please make my character the
waifu
different.
Comma. No, just waifu, watch your heart.
Waifu, yeah.
I want my character
and then then colon.
You can do the standoffish one.
5.
Oh no, that's Danielle. Well,
Danielle's the I'm guarded, but I secretly like you. So you know what?
I'm a tsundere. What can I say?
This is accurate.
Yeah. Shelby's just like, you're such a good person, and I see the goodness in you, and I just want to love you, like exactly how you are. Annie's just like, hi, I'm Annie. You want to join me? Great things together. And I'm just like, the fuck are you looking at? Like, what? And Mama's just like, we're already friends. You can't leave me behind. What? Where are you?
Do you want to blow bubbles? Like,
yeah,
talk and blow bubbles.
Yeah. Then I'm the one that's just like, you know what? I know what I said before, and I'm sorry.
That's like, I'll be submissive.
Jack's doing impressions.
Beat me into it.
But that's all I got. So
yay!
So much fun. Thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Join our Patreon if you have the funds and you want to support us, because we're trying to get more than 1 week ahead on early release. And if you support us, we have a greater chance of doing that. And we have lots of cool ideas. Jack wants to do Waifu Wars, where we have like cooking-based challenges where we just get a picture of something and we try and make it from scratch without having a recipe. And so like we have lots of really cool things that we're going to try and do, but
I can't wait.
Yes, we need your support. So if you can, maybe be a senpai or whatever, and
senpai, kohai, sensei.
Yeah, help a sister out. So yeah. Other than that, I guess we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.